Welcome back, Cheeseheads, to another episode of BAM GPG.
Yeah.
So, Bryson, the preseason, it's history now, and it's finally time for the real deal, the real action, week 1 at Lambeau Field against the Detroit Lions. So, today's episode, Bryson, we're going to quickly look ahead to Green Bay's showdown with the Detroit Lions. We're going to break down some of the key matchups. That'll probably determine the outcome for that week 1 victory. So Bryson, let's jump right into it here, Bryson. So the first big question around the Packers is Jordan Love, right? So he had the thumb surgery.
Yeah.
I believe it was a couple weeks ago now. So he's missed a lot of action this training camp. It's a little worrisome for me because you'd like to see him get a little more game ready for that matchup. Historically, if you look at the past couple seasons, or even back when Rodgers was with the Packers, we tend to start the season a little bit slow, right? And you'd like to see that kind of get jump started earlier this season, especially when you look at the way the Lions played last year, you look at the way the Vikings played last year. They were 14-win teams. So a slow start to the season can really affect your outcome on winning the division if you're the Green Bay Packers. So that's a big question mark. How will Jordan Love perform? Will he be ready? He's got a couple weeks now to practice with the ones. He's fully back now. So we will see how he comes along here the next couple weeks. And then rookie wide receiver Matthew Golden, Bryson.
Oh, he is amazing.
He is. He's looked great all training camp. He looks like he's ready to make plays now. The interior additions to the Green Bay Packers offensive line, like Aaron Banks, I know he's dealt with some injuries so far this offseason, but he'll be a great addition to that. And the intriguing one to me, Bryson, is going to be at tackle, right? Well, Jordan Morgan went out the spot there. I think he might have the edge at this point, but we'll see there. And then safety, Xavier McKinney, he's looked sharp at the beginning of training camp. I know he's been out dealing with his injury, but he should be ready to go week 1. Green Bay's going to need him, especially with that Detroit's passing game and how our secondary is kind of shaping up right now. We're going to need to be full strength back there to start the season. And then Jeff Hafley and our defense. So this will be year 2 with Hafley. And in just the first season, Hafley really transformed that Green Bay Packers defense into
better than Joe Barry.
Absolutely. He jumped it into a top 10 defense, 5th in total yards and 6th in points allowed last season, which is absolutely phenomenal. And you can take into account that Jair Alexander did not play after that Chicago Bears game early in the season last year. So what he was able to do with what he had last year, if we could build upon that again going into this season, I think we're only going to be better for it.
Yeah.
And then the Packers defensive line versus Detroit's offensive line, Bryson. So as we know, Detroit has a pretty fantastic offensive line, and Green Bay, that was one of our struggles last year. This year, the Lions swept us last year. We were 0-2 against Detroit. We've lost 6 out of the last 7 to the Detroit Lions. So if you're going to beat the Lions, you're going to have to get pressure up front. And that means, Rashawn Gary is going to have to win his matchups. Lucas Van Ness is going to have to win his. And then
One game we did not lose on Thanksgiving.
Was that Thanksgiving game? You're absolutely right.
We play them again on Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. This year we do. So, but getting back to that interior defensive line, Bryson, you're going to have to win the battle there too with Kenny Clark, probably anchoring the start there, but you're going to see a lot of rotation in there as well. That's typically how Green Bay does things. And then special teams, another year with Rich leading the team here. It's been a struggle here as of late for him. So we need special teams to avoid those costly mistakes. You think back to that playoff game, that fumble on the opening kickoff. Those things can't happen.
The kicker and punter have been phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, we finally got rid of Anders Carlson, and we have a kicker finally in McManus, which is phenomenal. It's a little refreshing.
And Daniel Whelan.
And Whelan's fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. So that's one thing. We have to avoid those costly mistakes, especially when you're playing against a team with the caliber of the Detroit Lions, or
Yeah.
as I was mentioning, that playoff game against the Eagles, you can't have those special teams blunders and expect to win the game. So the emphasis for this game, Bryson, takeaways, right? We got to get pressure on Jared Goff, and you got to let guys like Xavier McKinney and, I don't know if Nate Hobbs will be ready to go for that one. But you got to let your safeties kind of eat this game. You got to get pressure on the quarterback. Goff can make some mistakes. So you're going to have to win that turnover battle. I know that's what they say for every victory, but you have to do it against Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
And then another thing I think Green Bay has on their side going into the season here is really the stability of the organization right now. So the Lions lost both their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator to staff changes as they took head coaching jobs with the Jets and with the Chicago Bears. So while the Packers enjoy the continuity of LaFleur and, year 2 of Hafley's defense, the Lions are going to have a little bit of struggle with timing and navigating some of these changes at the coordinator position. So we'll see how that plays out. That'll be one to watch.
That's true.
Absolutely. And then again, the motivation from the divisional revenge factor, right? So the Lions have won 6 out of 7 against Green Bay. They swept us last season, and they were the back-to-back division winners of the NFC North. So with that, Bryson, we will dig more into this game as we kind of progress along after we find out what our roster cuts and who makes the team on Tuesday. We'll get more into that. But just a quick early prediction, Bryson, what do you have the score being?
24-17 Packers.
You got 24-17 Green Bay, week 1 at Lambeau. So I'm going to go, I'll spot the Lions 21, but I'm going to give Green Bay 31. So I got 31-21 Packers victory, week 1 at Lambeau Fields, setting the tone early in the division. So let us know, Packers family. Sound off here in the comments. Who's your under the radar breakout player this year? Who wins the trench war between the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers? Drop your votes, early predictions here in the comments. Don't forget to like this video. Give us a follow on TikTok and YouTube. And as I mentioned, we'll spotlight a few of our key matchups as we get closer to the week 1 matchup against the Lions. And as always, Bryson,
It's go Pack Go.